Okay, welcome everyone to the March Security Working Group meeting. Okay, let me share in the chat the agenda in case you don't have it at hand. The first item in our agenda, as always, is to request approval to the meeting minutes from last meeting, which are also linked in there from February 14. If nobody has an objection to it, we may consider them approved. All right. So we have, sorry, we have one item in the agenda that, excuse me, that I have added, but feel free to bring up any other topics during the meeting. You're not required to propose them in the agenda in advance, although you're always welcome to. So one quick thing I wanted to discuss is a couple of element wrappers that I've developed for integrating the use of Bandits, which is a Python code scanner. You may be familiar with it. I shared it in the chat as well. Both obviously open source projects. And then SendGrep is an engine that allows you to use a number of different rules on your code. And it supports different languages, including Python and C languages, XML, JSON. And so the proposal is to potentially add this to the list of amend lint wrappers, which I'm also sharing in the chat. You're probably familiar with this, this repository. And so this allows you to run this, this tooling very easily from the command line, and also to just add them automatically on your CMake, your CMake lists, so that the tests run automatically when you test your projects. So yeah, right now about 3 of them related to security exist: CPP check, amend ICOS, and amend Cobra. I don't think ICOS and Cobra are actually included in amend lint right now, but you can find the CPP check one in there. So my first question would be if you agree that these wrappers are good to propose to leave in the amend lint repository, and also if the group could take ownership potentially. Of course, there's a proposal process for that, a request process for the group to sort of maintain and contribute to the project, if that is something of interest to you all as well. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. Also, feel free to review them. They sort of follow the format of the others that already exist, mostly. Yeah.
Do you have when we're looking over the repo, do you have any examples that we can apply to? It's like, this is the failure mode you see. You change the source code here, and or check out this branch, apply the linter, and you'll see the effect that it has when you're applying it to an example source code.
I did not include a demo with them. But I guess, do you mean like part of the documentation that may be missing as to how to?
Oh, no. Yeah, well, yeah, a demo is just like all I was looking at. Is like, I wanted to see it running in action and see what kind of UI gives the feedback or to the user, or what it reports. I'm not familiar with Bandit, so I'm just like approaching this from the blue.
Yeah, sure. I was mostly following the format of the CPP check wrapper, for example. It doesn't include a demo, neither do the other 2, ICOS and Cobra. So I didn't. But it will be interesting in that documentation page, probably. that to be included. Yeah, I'll take note of that. So you have any thoughts on should this, I mean, is this a good candidate for a project for the group to maintain, contribute to?
Yeah, it'd be really cool to get this upstream into the Mint org. It doesn't take too much maintenance to just keep it and support it. It's like it's just using existing libraries and binaries, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Were there any nuances you had to do when you were applying it that are specific to ROS, like curtailing the tool to navigate the ROS build space or build workspace, or was that fairly straightforward in terms of just like having it interpret the rest of the CMake of whatever the project it's ingesting?
It's pretty straightforward in terms of the command line. As a static analysis tool, it really just runs on all your code, your workspace. So the default behavior is it runs on recursively on your current directory, but there's you can be customized to exclude certain directories or just include some of them. So you just pass the paths. It's really making use of the command lines interface from the tool. It doesn't implement the full command line, just like the other ones that currently exist. That's sort of the basic functionality. One thing though that I sort of deviated from at the moment from, say, CPP check is that the way these are implemented, it seems that they all output an XUnit file or set up to, so you can easily output XUnit, I guess, so you can integrate the results of many different tools. At the moment, by default, they are output in XML, but they can do any other. So if you look at main here, so any other format, because I know Sarif is rather popular too, and for example, SemGrep does output Sarif natively if you choose to. But in this case, there's a whole like the main itself has a number of functions to transform the output into XUnit. I don't know exactly how people are using this, I guess.
And for like navigation too, yeah, we mainly use XUnit or JUnit, which is like the original Java XML test format. And that's because it's mainly what our CI platform kind of understands. Like Circle CI, you just point at XML files and it assumes that it's JUnit. And when it's not JUnit, it kind of gets angry at you. I think Travis probably does a similar kind of ingestion for results, though it's that I think they have like sort of a hybrid approach where they're both like tracking the STD out, STD error, and return codes for all test processes. But yeah, it's kind of nice because then you can just tell Culkin, hey, put all your test results in this folder, and whatever linters you have, they all generate their files there. And then when you look at your CI results that's been processed and curated, it'll have whatever extracted from the XML files. That makes it kind of easy to summarize what linters are failing or something.
Yeah, makes sense. Probably something to improve already is for Bandit, for example, it does not have JUnit or XUnit native support, so integrating that sort of output option. For SemGrep, right now the default is JUnit. It does have JUnit output, so that's what it's doing. But is there a difference between like a preference to use XUnit versus JUnit?
I thought XUnit is sort of like the modern equivalent. JUnit's sort of like this undocumented kind of standard, and that's why it's all really weird and meta. But I don't quote me on that.
Okay, that's something that I'll look into for an immediate action point.
Is there when I made a Culkin extension, I submitted a ticket to the Culkin org to formally request adoption. Is there something we would continue there so we could get some folks, some Ament experts to review and bring in the repo?
Okay, where do you suggest that I should request a review from directly?
I can drop a link to what I did with Culkin, but there's the Ament repo, GitHub organization. And with regards to which repo we'd open up, let me just check. They just probably have a.
Sure. I mean, I can look for it. So. No worries.
Yeah, they don't have like Culkin, but they just have like Culkin core. I'm not sure which repo you'd open a ticket. Maybe Ament lint. That's probably that's weird. Yeah, maybe just open up a ticket for Ament lint. I'm guessing we'll eventually just merge it. We'll just bring over the repo rather than necessarily combining the code into the repo, but I'm not sure. Maybe however they want to organize their source code.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, feel free to take a look if you have any other comments on the wrappers themselves.
Yeah,
And
I'm looking forward to testing this. I think I'll try running it against Snap too and see what it generates. Probably a whole bunch of issues that we find with the navigation to repo.
sounds great. Yeah. Be good to have that feedback on your usage. All right. I don't know if you guys have another topic you want to bring up, pick up an old discussion, talk about a new project you're working on.
Nothing from me, thanks. Yeah, maybe I have a general question. So the ROS security is set up on DDS security. Has someone tried to use ROS security with another middleware? So something else which is not DDS?
Yeah, the currently I don't know if we have another middleware like RMW option that has security features. I think there's talk of us getting a Xeno RMW layer, which would be nice. And they have Xeno supports security features using TLS, I think. So that would be a case where ROS2 again would it could be helpful in terms of generalizing and generating the security artifact material for deployment. But yeah, that is sort of been the struggle in that we've only had secure DDS reference examples, and so I guess SROS2 is still pretty heavily biased towards DDS in that respect.
Okay, do you have a link or something there?
For Xeno RMW?
Yeah.
Let me search. There's the Xeno project, ZENOH.io. That's their main website. And they're developed by the same kind of, they're sponsored by Eclipse and Zetascale, the same folks behind Cyclone DDS. So I'll just paste it in the notes. And so I think if we maybe on their discourse, they have a Discord server, which they've been using for development. And so maybe the most up-to-date commentary on those developments have been maybe posted there. I'm not sure where else they may have been publicly discussed. It's more like an ephemeral, it's like an idea. Everyone's had it, but I'm not sure if it's been implemented yet. I haven't been keeping up on the state of the art, the other RMW layers. I thought we had one from Intel for whatever IoT middleware protocol Intel was kind of pushing a while ago. I'm not sure if that went anywhere. There's email RMW, but that was more of a joke.
Yeah, I think that's a guy from my company.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I wonder if he's planning another April Fool's project. Yeah, nothing off the top of my head, but that's
Okay.
worth a look. Did you have any concern or like?
No, just out of curiosity. So I want to know the effort, what it takes to modify SROS to support something different, basically.
Currently, because DDS permissions and all that stuff was heavily ingrained with XML, SROS2 uses sort of XML templates to generate the stuff. So when we're like doing translating ROS topics to DDS topics, then that's kind of a simple procedure with the XML template. With the templates you can do is that we can generate like from permissions that are expressed in XML to like JSON or to text or to YAML, you know, because that's just a simple text transform that XML schemas can handle. But it may be it might also be worthwhile of reevaluating our translation and generation templating stuff if we want to make that just pure code rather than XML templates. But for now, it's kind of been working because DDS is all XML.
Yeah.
So that's what's doing the most of the heavy work in terms of translating for access for the access control artifacts. For general crypto, like handling and generating key material, that's all pretty kind of agnostic. I mean, so if Xeno RMW comes along and they need TLS certificates, you know, that's something that's pretty easy to extend SROS2 already. It's just we're just using Python crypto library. But that's about the state of it so far.
Yeah, that's for generating the certificates and all that stuff on the for the initial configuration, right? So
Yeah,
how do maybe that's another question. How I don't know which crypto libraries do you use on the target, on the robot? Are there any, or how do you do that?
Well, I mean, each vendor is like for the DDS vendors, they kind of they're all using, I think, OpenSSL, but they might like build against different version of OpenSSL, and they also might vendor that version of SSL, like they're shipping it by OpenSSL binaries with their library, so it's not even maybe using the system OpenSSL, which is all kind of hairball. So like, I think Fast EDS and Cyclone, they build against the system OpenSSL. RTI Connects will ship with its own version. And so, but I mean, in terms of crypto, they're all using like, X509 certs and PEM files. So that's not anything that's specific to the crypto library or whatnot.
But there is no other implementation which implements or utilizes another crypto library. So everything is based on OpenSSL.
There is the Korean DDS vendor that they also have an RMW layer. So GU grums.cc. Pasted in the notes again. And so they have an RMW implementation as well, because I think they've been working with Robotic. So it's also on the ROS RMW repo list. So ROS to RMW. So Grum DDS. And they're a closed source DDS vendor, so I'm not sure what secure crypto library they're using. I tried to get access to try and evaluate and make sure that SROS2 is still compatible, but they've been kind of slow in getting giving us a appropriate license and binaries to test. So I've just been waiting for the past month or so. I think to get to your point, if we ever get to something that's more exotic, like that's using dedicated devices for holding the key material, like enclaves, or
well, to add to that, I think what we did with eProsima was this PKS11 addition to the fast EDS. So this allows you to use any sort of PKS11 backend. But I think it's still the solution did still not get rid of the OpenSSL, because I think eProsima used OpenSSL there, but of course the crypto itself happens in whatever backend you choose. But yeah, so you can use HSM or whatever enclave you want with that solution, but it's only for the fast EDS. And actually, to add to that, DDS security spec does include specification or sorry, does include description for PKS11 features, but FastDDS is the only actual implementation that I'm aware of that actually implements that.
To get to that, I was just going to move the topic to the design PR that we got told to redirect elsewhere, but I'll wait till change the subject until you have your last question, Patrick.
Yeah, that answers it. Oh, it helps, to be honest, to get a bit better overview.
So we reviewed the design PR for the PKS11, and I think some of the folks from Open Robotics told us, well, the design repo is sort of deprecated in favor of opening a formal rep. So I guess We just need to modify the PK11 proposals into reps.
Okay.
I think that was
Okay,
the only kind of active work or the action item left for that before adopting an implementation.
Okay, I make sure that Ibrahima knows that. Thanks.
And that's all I had.
Okay, any last thoughts, comments?
Not from my side.
Okay, going in 3, 2, 1. All right, so we can continue the conversation on the Matrix channel. If you're not there already, do join. Yeah, and I'll see you all next time.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.